Hi, my name is Christina, and this is the story of how I came to Jesus. I grew up in a small town in Arizona. I was born to a single mom who had 4 kids by the time she was 22. There was a lot of neglect and abuse in my house. Around 11 years old, I started using meth, and by the time I was 12, I started getting arrested. By the time I was 13, I was an IV drug user. My life quickly spiraled out of control. By the time I was 21, I had my first child. 22, I had 2 children. By the time I was 24, I was in prison. And on the same day that I was sentenced to prison, my mother passed away. She was an alcoholic and an addict, and she died as a direct result of her own addiction. Just before I went to prison, I had met my father. My dad was a Christian man, and that was the first time anyone had encouraged me to read the Bible or go to school. While I was in prison, my daddy was encouraging me to learn about who Jesus was. A week after I got out of prison, I got my children. I started going to 12-step meetings. I wanted to start to break the cycles of addiction for my children. When I had 5 years clean, I had another child. I got into the nursing program, and during that time I had taken a class called the History of God. I thought that this class was just going to enhance my relationship with God. It turned out that it was everything but that. Because I wasn't rooted in the Bible, because I wasn't rooted in my relationship with Christ, it tricked me. It shook the foundation that I had had. In that class, I had lost my God. And within a year of taking that class, I had relapsed. I ended up out on the Joe Rodota bike trail. I was in and out of homeless shelters. I was no longer a mother to my children. I had abandoned them for drugs and alcohol. I didn't know if I was ever going to make it back again. I was out there for 11 years, and I call that time the valley of the shadow of death. I was always searching for something. You know, I was a science major, so I knew that energy didn't die, but I couldn't call it God. I just couldn't get to that place. But on June 17th, God came after me. I was struck sober that day. I ended up in the emergency department. My blood was septic from the way that I was using the drugs, and I ended up in ICU. My daughter had had a child, and because of the way that I was living my life, she wouldn't let me even touch the baby. When she came to see me, I had a moment of surrender, and I asked her if she would call and get me into detox. From there, I went into treatment for 30 days and started to have a relationship with my children again. I knew that God had struck me sober. I knew that God did that for me. And I like to say, you know, there's a line from The Chosen where Mary Magdalene is talking to Nicodemus, and she says, first I was one way, and then I was another, and the thing that happened in between was him. And I relate to that in such a strong way, because I knew that I didn't get myself sober. I knew if I could have gotten myself clean, I certainly would have. I'm so grateful to have the life that I have today, and to have the connection with my children that I have today. I am so undeserving. I feel like it is my honor and my privilege to get to tell people about Jesus. I just really want my children to know, in my heart of hearts, I hope that one day they come to know Jesus too. The truth is, in all of the things that I've ever done in my life, I've never been more at peace and more happier than living the life that I live today. And it's pretty simple. All I've done is give my life to the Lord. And He just wants the best for me. It's just a beautiful thing.